Alas, I am returned.
What is that?
What the fuck is that?
So yeah, my fellow Tarnished, as it turns out, there is a certain incantation that lets you essentially pull off the sorcery one-shot Comet Azure combo, but it's not even a channeled spell. So I think without further ado, let's go kill some bosses. I can't deny smiting thine enemies into dust with red dragon lightning has a certain satisfaction to it now, doesn't it? Basically, everyone, red dragon lightning incantations can be actually incredible! So what are we actually doing here? Well, there is a certain incantation by the name of Ancient Dragon's Lightning Strike that is very unique in how it functions. You basically become the center of a star-spreading pattern of lightning lines, and each strike along that line for each line can do damage. Which means, potentially, if you line up well with the boss, you can hit it about 15 times for about 4,000 damage apiece, because each strike is ludicrously powerful. Like, this is a New Game Plus 8,000 health whatever giant, and it's just, it's dead. Okay, it's gone now, that's it. And it just feels kinda, there's no one seen this, no one done this, Don't tell FromSoft. And it feels naughty, you know? It's just walk up, press the button, and oh, the boss is dead now. Congratulations, I'm incredibly good at Elden Ring. So basically, we have an incantation that naturally is incredibly powerful in terms of the raw damage it deals. It can also deal that damage upwards of 10 to 15 times on one enemy. And it is incredibly buffable because it is a charged lightning incantation, which lets us do an incredibly potent talisman and equipment loadout to really make it pop off. So the incantation itself then you get from Farum Azula. It's on a copse in the middle of a room surrounded by beastmen. I was going to ask, I wonder how he died, but I think I kind of found out myself.
Wait, am I on camera right now?
Then you go take your brand new Dragon Lightning book to Giant Dog Pope and have him teach you Ancient Dragon Lightning Strike. Only requiring a fairly modest, honestly for how powerful it is, 26 faith, and it can be yours. So yeah, we can either charge it for a much more potent set of lightning lines, or let it go straight away, which does give us a little bit of utility, though of course you can be interrupted out of it. I would recommend, if you're going to use this more as just a general, throughout your journey, one of your tools, that a offhand weapon with Endor, which gives you massive poison damage reduction, so you can essentially Endor and then start channeling the lightning strike, is a really good little combination, and you buy Endor from Warmaster Bernal. But that quick tip aside, it's, you know, plenty fine at just clearing random trash enemies, because it basically just one-shots everything, and it one-shots everything in a massive area, so it just decimates levels. I was killing things in the Halig tree here that I didn't even know were nearby, that were off camera. I was just hearing the noise of death, and I'm like, okay, yeah, fair enough, I'm not complaining. So obviously, this is a boss killer, right? That's where it really excels. Though in PvP, if you do catch someone with it, which isn't the hardest to do because of how many lines of lightning in all directions are, you have to properly time your dodge, it feels like avoiding an actual boss ability. You basically just kill them because, yeah, it just does insane damage, and it can be quite fun to do, especially on a group of people. So, of course, we need our Sacred Seal. But not just any Sacred Seal, the Dragon Sacred Seal. This This is the Graved Stone Seal. This gives you an extra 15% damage on Dragon Cult incantations, of which this is. You get this in Lane Dell before it turns to ash by killing the knight of this knight and bowman pair that you find near one of the fossilized wings of the dragon. And then it comes to, well, how do we amp this even further? The Jellyfish Shield is always a good call in these situations. It's a free plus 20% damage that applies to literally everything. Grabbed up near the 4 belfries, when you head down, there's a little mournful, angry circle of jellyfish, and then you basically just kind of run off with the corpse of their fallen friend, and then use it to shower yourself in jellyfish blood, which makes you right proper angry. It's kind of messed up, actually, when you say it like that. And then we get to our Talismans. The Ritual Swords, easy, an extra 10% damage at full health from the Lux Ruins in Altus Plateau. The Godfrey Icon, an extra 15% damage on charged incantations and sorceries and skills. And of course, we are indeed charging the Lightning Strike. This is from the jail in Altus Plateau, where you defeat good old Godfroy. Then we have the Lightning Scorpion for an extra 12% lightning damage. This is from a dungeon again in Altus Plateau, so it's actually quite a close-knitted circle of collecting here, though this one more towards Mount Gelmir. You want to be heading to the Windham Catacombs, making your way through them, and eventually you'll find yourself at a stone key door, which you of course want to get through, and then you can pick up your talisman. Finally then, we want the Flock Canvas Talisman. This is plus 8% damage to all incantations, and you get this from Mr. Gowry. If you do the Millicent questline, if you help Millicent, well, you can go back to him, murder him, and take his bell bearing and the talisman. If you instead choose to challenge Millicent, well, he will be dead anyway, and then you get the talisman and the bell bearing. So either way, basically complete the Millicent quest, go back to him and get your reward, one way or another. This then is our roundup. Oh, and of course the lightning cracking tier in our Wondrous Physic for an extra 20%, and we couple it with Infinite FP because we might as well. There's nothing else we really need. And that's about it. We whack on Golden Vow because it's an extra 15% damage that applies to everything and a bit of damage reduction. Why the hell not? Buff up with that, buff up the Jelly Shield, have ourselves our Wondrous Physic, and then simply slam down for monstrously powerful red dragon lightning as it spreads in every direction, absolutely murdering all that stand before you. It's really, really wondrously fun, and I hope you guys enjoy using the one incantation that can quite literally, truly, effortlessly one-shot bosses. Of course, against very small, agile targets, it loses a lot of effectiveness. It's best against the big boys that can take multiple hits and multiple lines, but that said, it still does comfortably annihilate the smaller enemies. I mean, it punched through Radagon in 3 or 4 casts. Obviously, New Game Plus Margit was no challenge. The only thing I will say against it is that sometimes it does seem a little bit inconsistent whether a lightning strike beam line of it actually hits or not. I feel like you can be stood in exactly the same place against exactly the same enemy, and sometimes you'll do 5,000 damage, and sometimes you'll do 20,000 damage. Granted, the low end of that is still 5,000 damage, which is appreciable and meaty, but obviously the upper end of that is one-shot annihilation, so you might have to be a little bit, deliberate in where you stand. You don't want to be right pressed up next to the enemy, you want a good 5 to 10 feet gap, because the lightning spawns in front of you a little bit ahead of you, and if you're hugging someone, well then it will come after them, which of course isn't too ideal. So a little bit of a use tip on that front, but other than that, it really is as simple as just buff up and blast. Of course, doing a summon so you can comfortably do the slow cast behind bosses while they're distracted is incredibly helpful, or go for the offhand dagger and door to just tank your way through the hits. Other than that then, I hope you have enjoyed this. I just wanted to challenge myself to at least get one incantation up there with Comet Azure for pure boss-rending might, and I like to think that I have done that. and I hope you appreciate actually taking it to Elden Beast, because I realize you guys a lot of the time like to ask, well, what about Elden Beast? I bet it can't beat that, Elden Beast, haha! And as you've been seeing, yeah, no, it destroys Elden Beast too. Did 14,000 damage in one attempt. I just kind of played like trash and immediately died afterwards. I really wish I'd been allowed to actually finish that one. But in any case, that is that. Like if you've enjoyed this, subscribe for more. The Int Faith Hybrid Shenanigans is on its way too. That one requires a little bit more testing, but for now, subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss it, and everything else. Until we meet again, please consider supporting the future of this channel on Patreon down below. A goodbye.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.